Where can you get new construction in Franklin, Tennessee? I'm diving into all of that and what to expect in the building process in today's video. Everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent, and I specialize in helping out-of-staters relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content. So today we're going to be talking about new construction in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm going to be talking about neighborhoods, where you can find it. Also going to be touching on a little bit of what you can expect if you want to go through the new build process. Now, I've been through the new build process several times with clients, so this is an area of expertise for me, and I love going through the new build process. So let's go ahead and dive into the neighborhoods where you can find new construction in Franklin, Tennessee. Okay, so here's a couple of things to know. Franklin, there's not going to be as many new construction, new development opportunities as say other areas around Franklin. Places like Thompson Station and Nolensville are brimming with new construction, new neighborhood opportunities. Franklin is going to be more limited, but don't let that discourage you. So let's jump into a couple of the neighborhoods that either have new construction opportunities or are going to be brand new developments as is. Okay, so the first one is going to be West Haven. Now, I know I have talked about West Haven in a previous video, and if you haven't seen it, you can go check it out right here. So West Haven is going to be a huge 2,000 plus home community located on the west side of Franklin, just a few miles from downtown Franklin. Now, West Haven was actually developed by the same developer that developed Seaside, Florida, so it has a lot of charm. It's got kind of a southern coastal vibe to it, but it is a fabulous master plan community with its own grocery store, elementary school, shops, restaurants, dentist, office. It's got its own club house, residence clubhouse. It's got its own golf course, multiple swimming pools. It's a golf court community, all the things. But this is actually an established neighborhood. It's been around for around 20 plus years, so you can find existing homes. However, they do have certain parts of the neighborhood that they are continuing to develop, which allows you new construction opportunities. So here's what you need to know. There's more than one builder in West Haven, but if you are hoping to get to select your lot, select your finishes, West Haven is not going to be the place for you right now. So whereas that was an opportunity before, because the builders are trying to keep up with the demand that we are seeing, what they're doing is they're going ahead, selecting the floor plan, the elevation, all the interior finishes, and then they're going ahead and building it and getting it to a certain point in construction before they're then releasing it out for buyers to bid on it in order to win the contract and get the new build. So that can be difficult. Now, if you're somebody that maybe feels overwhelmed with having to pick all the finishes that go along with the new construction process, this could be a great fit for you, especially if you like the West Haven neighborhood. Now, the West Haven lots are not going to be super big. If you've ever been in there or you checked out my other video, you know the homes tend to be a little bit closer together. Home prices for the new builds in West Haven are going to be around that $900,000 and above range, and they can be anything from 3 bedrooms up to 5 bedrooms. Again, they have multiple builders in there, different floor plans. So if you are interested in exploring the West Haven options, please feel free to reach out to me. I have a great relationship with West Haven, and so I am happy to get you the info, what is coming soon, what the cost is, where the lots are, all the things. But again, in West Haven, you're not going to get the opportunity to select the lot, select the floor plan, and select your finishes. Now, you do get the opportunity to see what the builder selected, so you do have that option to see. You're not walking in blind. But again, you don't have the option of starting from scratch in that new build process. Now, if you are looking at a lower price point, there is new construction happening in the Villages of Shadow Green. This is going to be a little further south of downtown Franklin. This is a really cute community, but this is going to be a community where you're going to find more condos and townhomes in it. And they're going to be around the $250,000 and above range. So right now there are a couple new condo buildings going up with 1 beds, 2 beds. So there's a couple of different options. Now this would be your opportunity to get to potentially pick the unit that you want. They only release a certain amount at a time and then those go under contract. But there's always the opportunity to have conversations with the builder because maybe you don't like the floor that this one's on. Maybe you can see if there's something coming up that would be released a little later that would then allow you the opportunity to maybe get something that's more ideal to what you're looking for. But the Villages of Shadow Green community is really cute. Again, it's gonna be just south of downtown Franklin, and there's a lot of amenities around. It's got community pools, but it's going to be really great for those of you who maybe either want to downsize, maybe you're a single. This is an opportunity for you to get into the Franklin market at a more affordable price point. And again, this community, it's fairly new. There are several townhomes and condo buildings that have already been built, but they do have further phases where they're going to continue to build and develop. So if maybe you're not quite ready, but you're looking down the road, this is something that you can keep your eye on. Okay, then there's going to be Daventry. Now, Daventry is a newer neighborhood. A Pulte Homes builder is actually building in there. And so as of right now, they don't have any lots available. They still have a little more than a couple dozen unreleased lots. But what we're finding, again, because of this strong demand that we're seeing from buyers, builders are being more cautious in how they're rolling out the availability of lots. So even though there's nothing available at the moment, all of the lots that had been available are currently under contract. But again, they do have a little more than a couple dozen lots left that are going to be released at another point. Right now, Daventry is actually going to be located on the east side of I-65. It's actually going to be even a little further east than Wilson Pike. So that's something to keep in mind. Just know if you are looking for certain areas in Franklin, this is actually going to be on the east side of Franklin. Whereas if you're wondering the proximity to downtown Franklin is going to be on the west side of 65. The price range in Daventry starts around the mid 850s and then it scales up to over $1 million. And so again, they do have unreleased lots, but once those become available, then it'll be the opportunity to see, okay, which floor plans will fit on which lots, and then you will have the ability to work with the builder. You will have the opportunity to make your own selections. So you can choose your cabinet color, your countertops, all of that fun stuff gets to happen, and you would have the availability to be able to keep an eye on a lot that maybe you think is ideal. So we've so far talked about communities that are already built or have been built or are newer, and there's still new construction opportunities. There's actually a brand new construction development coming to Franklin, coming in the fall of 2021, and it's called Terra Vista. Now, Terra Vista is going to be built by the Jones Company. And so Terra Vista, if you know where Ladd Park is actually just east of I-65. You go south down Carruthers, you run into Ladd Park, and then the development for Terra Vista is actually slated to be just a little further south from there. Now, there's not a lot of information available about Terra Vista at this current time. Terra Vista is going to supposedly start around the low 700s in terms of price point, but of course that is subject to change in terms of how many lots are available. Again, that information has not been released. I wish I had more information for you at this time, but of course I'll do an updated video later once that information becomes available. But if you are looking for the potential for a new construction neighborhood in Franklin, this could be a really great opportunity for you. Again, it's called Terra Vista. The Jones Company will be building in there. And again, more information will be able to come available in the fall of 2021. So that's something to keep an eye out. Now, if you're thinking, okay, Caitlin, that doesn't feel like a whole lot of options, believe me, I understand. Franklin is fairly well established, so the opportunity for new builds is going to be less than say somewhere like Nolensville or Thompson Station. There is a lot of new construction happening in those other areas, but the opportunity for new construction in Franklin is going to be more scarce. If you're wondering about what some of those other new construction neighborhoods are that are happening just outside of Franklin, like I said, Thompson Station and Nolensville are really, really hot right now for new builds. Please feel free to click below because you can grab my new construction list that's going to give you an idea of where you can search to seek out new construction opportunities. And if you're curious about any of them, have more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so before we actually dive into what the new construction neighborhoods are in Franklin, I want to talk a little bit about what to know about the new construction process of things that are happening right now. So with the new construction process, so because we are seeing really high demand and low supply, it's actually forcing builders to be more strategic in how they're releasing lots, how they're releasing new builds. So each builder's a little bit different. Some builders are only releasing 2 or 3 lots a month. And once those 3 are under contract, they're not writing any more contract until the next month. Sometimes you have to get on a waiting list and you are notified as soon as those lists become available. Sometimes it's a matter of you may get fortunate, and when you go to speak with the builder's agent, which never go without your own representation. Trust me, if you're curious about why, please feel free to check out this video up here. It goes into further detail. Now, again, the new build process is going to look different than the way it looked before. Again, that's because builders are trying to slow roll and be strategic so that they can meet building timelines so that their workers, their project managers are not completely overwhelmed, because again, this huge demand that we're seeing coming into the Nashville area is driving up the demand for new builds. So they're trying to do it in a way that they can deliver the home to you on time, and that is what you want. Trust me, you do not want a builder pushing and pushing and pushing a timeline on you. Other things to note, yes, we have seen lumber prices decrease. However, when we're talking about the actual wood, we've seen that decrease. However, please do not think that the cost of lumber is just the actual wood. There's more that goes into it when you're working with builders. It's the joist for it. It's going to be the freight to get it to the build site. There's a lot more packaged into that lumber cost than just the actual wood. And so yes, while we have thankfully seen the price of wood trend down, there are some other items that fall into that cost that are still high or going a little bit higher. So that's something to consider. So how are builders dealing with that? Well, builders, I mean, right now it's kind of on a rolling basis. They are constantly analyzing the situation. How can they better this? But a lot of builders are actually putting in a clause into contracts that say, hey, we will eat essentially up to 5% or 8% of a price increase in lumber, and then anything above that falls onto the buyer. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to stay within a certain budget. If you have a hard, like high max budget on what you want to spend, that's something that needs to be considered. We need to think about, hopefully prices will start to fully trend downward, so that's less of an issue, but it is something to keep in mind if you're wanting to go through the new build process. Now, again, if you are interested in a specific build or a specific neighborhood, that is, once we're talking about those, again, that's when I'll be getting the latest information to update you on what that specific builder is doing in that specific neighborhood, and then we formulate a plan around it. So those are kind of the big things to know, is that the availability of lots and the release of lots is being slow rolled. The way each builder is handling who gets to go under contract is going to be a little bit different. And again, if you're interested in certain builders, we can talk about that separately. And then also know that there is more to a lumber price than just the price of the wood. And again, if you're curious about a specific builder, we can talk about that at a separate time as well. So if you're thinking about going through the new build process, or you're interested in new construction, you can go ahead and click below to get my free new construction list. It's also going to come with tips and tricks to know about going through the new construction process, because like I said, I've been through the new construction process several times. I love it. I know the questions that you should ask, things to look out for to protect you and your interest during the new build process, because even though it's super fun, you got to make sure you're still protected in the process as well. If you have any questions about new construction, please don't hesitate to reach out to me because all of my contact information is below. I'm Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.